Welcome back again. I know by the end of this you'll probably be hearing that said a lot. Okay, this is part 3. I've just done my parts, burned them, you've seen that. And this is the design with the ribbon effect in it. I've just cut one in. This is the front that you're going to see. Of course it's not sanded yet, it's not finished yet. And this is the back. Now in marquetry, the window method, you tend to cut from the back so that you can get a better fix on the front. So basically I've got these gaps which I'm going to basically be filling with these and making sure that the shading is on the tips and the grain direction follows the direction of these ribbons, and therefore it gives like a twisting effect, although it doesn't look quite that now. When it's finished it will. And of course because I've cut from the back, the front is a lot sharper. Okay, so let me explain. This is our knife, this is the veneer. When it cuts into the veneer, it sort of leaves damage from the sides of the blade on either side, unless of course you use a ruler, then it's a lot straighter. But one side you'll tend to use or have an effect from the knife, so it tends to be wider from the side that you cut than the other side. So with that in mind, if you cut from the back, the gap is going to be a lot wider on the back, but a lot closer together on the front. And therefore it's going to be a lot sharper, a lot closer, and look a lot more skillful from the back, from the front. And therefore when you cut, tend to cut from the back, and then of course it's a lot more tidy. And this is the idea behind it basically, is that your knife from the back, these are finer cuts. It's just like the tip of your knife. So with that in mind, I'm now going to go ahead and cut from the back. Now if you're marquetarian, you've probably gathered that this is the window method. These are my windows, these holes, and this is my wood underneath, and then I cut through. Now I'm going to do this a little bit by eye. Lay my wood over. I'm going to position it so I'm happy with the effect that I'm getting, that I'm after. And when I've done that, then I'll put pressure on. Let me have a look on the other side. Let's try and do a little more. That's better. That's more defined. So the sheet's underneath. I've looked through the window. I've positioned it. I'm happy with it. Now of course you will be seeing it from the other side, but this gives a good indication. And the only worry that I have is that if I've carbonized the wood too much, that when I sand it, it's going to be soft. But in this case, they haven't been carbonized at all. They're still structurally sound enough that they're not going to sand away when I'm actually finishing the project. Okay, now put my pressure on. Try and spread your weight evenly. And of course, you get your scalpel or your knife to try and cut in. Try and make a little bit of a pinch or point. There you go, like that. Keep your pressure down. I push in and try and follow. Just follow the wood. Try not to let the grain underneath influence your cutting action. Go 1, 2. Nice and slowly. It'll use the wood, that's the window, which is the top veneer, as a guide. And of course then we're going to do 3. If you want, try and put it into the corner. You're trying to get as close to that as possible. And again, make your pointy mark in, like so. Now, sometimes you can get your knife and sharpen it closer by sandpaper or by a block, like a sharpening block. And that's more of a point, because you need that point to get into that angle, to get into where the window is. Now, I can see now that I've got a line on this wood, and that line I'm going to copy with the knife. Nice and slowly. Nice and slowly. Just allow the knife, the blade, to do the work. And then, there you go. Then we should be able to just drop that in. Should be able to just drop it in. There you go. Beautiful. There he is. See? And of course, to finish that, what I need is a little bit of tape just on the top. on the front, just so that I can keep it in place. It's in place. There you go. So by the time that this is finished, all at the points where it's twisting is a bit of shadow as the ribbon's twisting. Okay, and of course you're getting those going over and under. So it's going to be quite an interesting little piece. So anyway, I'm going to get on with this, and you'll see again in the next stage. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you soon.